I might lose my farm because of the government.
On the libs! On the libs! There's so much owning of the libs going on right here.
Our EQIP program, which is cost sharing on fences, waters, a well, and some seedings, was funded by the Inflation Reduction Act.
And who signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law? Was it Joe Biden? Sir, that is socialism. And you were benefiting off of it. Did you post this a few months ago in October?
I'll tell you what I love. I love cows. But if we go with Kamala, you won't have any cows anymore because you're not.
A few moments later.
Our farm payment money, if we don't have that money, we will lose this farm. And the only way that I can think to get around it is we sell some cows.
I'm done.
I need your help to save my farm and many other farms.
Sir, we already tried to help you save your farm. The saving of the farms happened a few months ago on November 5th. Us on the left, or what is it that you call us, libtards? Us libtards showed up on November 5th and voted so that you could keep benefiting off the Inflation Reduction Act that would have saved your farm. You, Kyle, also showed up on November 5th and voted to preserve something that wasn't your farm. What did you vote to preserve, Kyle? You voted to preserve your white tea supremacy instead of saving your farm. Are you feeling superior right now, Kyle? I want you to get exactly what you voted for, Kyle, and I want you to feel the powerful consequences of your vote.
This is the consequences when we chose the wrong direction. Oh my God. Yes. It is what it is. Make America great. Yeah, low prices.
So like this fruit is not going to be able to be harvested because it's too far gone.
That's because on day one of the harvest, about half of their 120-person workforce wasn't there.
Our harvest workforce is primarily immigrants. I would say the majority are from Mexico originally. They are skilled workers who come up every single year. A lot of people have a lot of fear based on their ethnicity, which is an unfortunate thing.
Chandler says the fear over ICE raids isn't just present at his farm, but across many farms like his. For him, it means an unprecedented loss.
So we are in a situation where we're going to have to leave probably 300 to 400 tons of fruit on the tree. It's going to be devastating.
He and his wife are even looking for second jobs to make up for the loss. But on top of those fears, Chandler's wife is from Mexico, and the knowledge that people who look like her and his children don't feel welcome hits close to home.
Do you know where your fruits and vegetables come from? Over 1/3 of U.S. vegetables and also 3/4 of fruits and nuts are grown in California. Did you know that? Well, right now in California, because of all these ICE raids, 70% of workers are gone due to workers being afraid of the ICE raids. 70%. And in an article I was reading on The Guardian, someone in the business said, if 70% of your workers don't show up, 70% of your crop doesn't get picked and can go bad within one day. This is real, and it has a devastating impact on the entire United States. And according to the story, California farms generate $60 billion in agricultural sales every year. Even Trump had said at one point a couple weeks ago that our farmers are being hurt badly. They have very good workers. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be great. Okay. But then he turned around after he was going to supposedly protect farm workers and restaurant workers and said, no, we're going to continue raids on them too. And right now there's been no policy to change anything. And you know, it's a ripple effect. So this is going to take maybe a couple more weeks, maybe a month, and we are really going to start to notice the prices are going to skyrocket for fruits and vegetables and nuts. And forget the GOP and the MAGA people who are going to say, oh, we'll get our stuff from other countries. No, you won't. And if you do, you're going to pay. And at the end of the day, what part of $60 billion in sales revenue did you not understand? So enjoy your avocados, your apples, your tomatoes, your lettuce, your corn, your watermelon, because in the coming weeks, you're either going to have none or they're going to cost so much money, a lot of people will just not be able to afford buying.
So food prices in America are expected to skyrocket anytime soon due to the ongoing mass deportation. Now that's because most of these workers on these farms are mostly immigrants. And because they don't have documents, most of them are scared to come to work. They might get caught and deported. So the crops on these farms are being left alone. Most of them have started rotting.
So this morning I wake up to find out that 75% of the farm workers are not showing up to work in California. This is exactly how you, documented, undocumented immigrants, and anybody who works alongside you all that supports you, this is how you show America exactly how much our economy depends on your hard efforts and work. Thank you so much for banding together to do this. It's about time that the rest of the people in the United States that are spoiled, rotten, rich understand that their only cheap fruit comes because of the fruit of your labors.
And food prices are about to soar because of it. We are going to get to a point where it's not going to be a case of can you find an orange? It's can you afford it if you do. Donald Trump has come into office thinking he can just do whatever he wants and the world will just respond to his whim. And instead, he is finding out the hard way and we're going to pay the price.
Family owned, over 4,000 acres of tomato farm across Florida and California. Yep. Sadly, his crops aren't looking too good. All those tomatoes rotting, you know. Nobody's there to pick the crops. And with Trump tariffs, well, he ain't got nothing left to do, y'all, but to mow that shit down. He got to mow all that shit down. Yep. Ain't got nobody there to pick them goddamn crops. Do I feel bad? No. Because that's what he voted for. He voted for Trump. A Trumper. All that shit wasted. All those goddamn tomatoes gone to garbage. They wasted. All because of that vote for Trump.
Policy decisions have consequences. I've said that before. And you might like what you get on the front end, but you might not like what you have to pay on the back end. See, farmers in Florida, especially tomato farmers, they're finding that out. There was a farmer interviewed on a Miami TV station, and he said that, you know, there's two policies he kind of agrees with. One is the immigration policy, right? He says, you know, I know we gotta do something about the borders, both north and south, but it's impacting my ability to keep staff because now a lot of my people don't show up for work. I mean, he understands that nearly half of the immigrant workforce that works on farms like his are undocumented. People are scared, both legal immigrants and undocumented immigrants. They're afraid to come to work. And he's been forced to try to hire people at a higher wage, which cuts into his profit margin, which is probably pretty slim to begin with, right? And then there's the tariff policy. See, Donald Trump's put tariffs on Mexican tomatoes. He's a tomato farmer, owns 4,000 acres in Florida and California. He said in Florida it's gotten so bad that he has to plow over fields of good tomatoes because he's got no one to pick them. And now that Mexico has been hit with this tariff on tomatoes, they're trying to get ahead of it and flooding the market with tomatoes right now. What do you think that does to the price of tomatoes in the United States? Drives it down. See, this farmer before, he was getting about $16 for a box of tomatoes. You know what he's getting now? $3 to $4. That's how much the market's collapsed. He needs about $10 to $11 just to break even. Think about the export side. So Canada's put a 25% tariff on watermelons coming from the United States. What do you think that means? Canadians might not want to pay the price. They're exporting a lot less watermelons. Farmers that are farming watermelons are feeling the pinch too. You see, you might like the policy. It might feel good on the front end. Yeah, we're closing the borders. Yeah, we're going to show them. We're going to put tariffs on them. But are you willing to pay the price on the back end? Some of you are. Some of you are really getting hurt by it. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. You might not like it.
So by now we've all heard that Nebraska is going to go bankrupt in about 2 months, 60 days, give or take. And Nebraska was a state that voted overwhelmingly for that guy. And now they're all crying and screaming because their workforce is gone. All the immigrants that were there doing whatever they did for them, gone. All these people jumping on TikTok, all over social media, complaining about how they're about to lose their farms because they don't have anybody to work the farms. My thing is, like, when the man told you he was going to deport the immigrants and y'all still voted for him, did you think he was joking? Because his hatred for immigrants and people of color and anybody who's not a wealthy white man was the first clue that the rest of us got that he was going to do what the hell he said he was going to do. Let's be real about it. He tried it and got blocked in 2016 because at that time there were people in places in the administration that prevented him from doing that. Well, now he done got rid of all those people who would have stopped him from doing this craziness. So all that's left are the people like them, like y'all, who voted for this, who agree with the shit. I'm having a hard time understanding why we should care. Why those of us who didn't around but are also finding out, why are we supposed to care? Why are we supposed to be like, oh, you are sorry and you regret your vote because you're about to lose your family farm and God knows what else? We all got drama that we got to deal with and live through. There are a lot of people worried every day about losing their jobs. People who have jobs that are 100% federally funded, who are worried every day that they get up if that's going to be the day that they go to work and they tell them, oh, we're done, you don't need to come back. So why should we care about you when we all got to be out here worried about our own self? So all I'm saying is the find and find out is real for all of us. But for those of y'all that voted for this shit, y'all need to eat it. I wanted to say something else, but I don't know if children might see this video. But you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I don't think we give a shit. You know, concepts of thoughts, because y'all damn sure don't deserve our prayers. Good night.
It's all gone. Everything is gone.
Tariff talks top of mind. South Florida farmers say they're in trouble. Crops are rotting on the vine, and they're blaming the ongoing trade wars and immigration changes.
What does this mean for the future of our food? The Night Team's Heather Walker has a look at tonight's 7 Investigates.
Perfectly good tomatoes are being plowed over instead of picked. It's a sad scene happening in South Florida.
You can't even afford to pick them right now between the cost of the labor and the inputs that go in. It's more cost effective for the farmers to just plow them right now.
Heather Moling understands the struggles that farmers are facing right now. She's part of the family that runs the Homestead produce stand. Robert is here.
These are local tomatoes here.
She says farmers used to get $16 for a box of tomatoes. It's now down to $3 or $4.
Just a horrible price. Some of that has been from what Mexico is bringing into the country, and some of that has been just with the threat of the tariffs.
Farmers say President Trump's tariffs and the threat of tariffs have caused thousands of acres of tomatoes to go to waste because the cost to pack and pick them is more than what tomatoes are selling for this year.
It costs you, close to, probably over $10 a box, close to $11 a box to break even. So if you're selling tomatoes for $3 and $4 and $5, you can just figure out pretty quickly what the losses are.
Tony Damari with Damari Homestead says his company has experienced huge losses. He won't disclose how much, but says South Florida farmers are hurting.
The Mexican industry exported, in some cases, double and triple the daily volumes as to beat being subject to the 25% tariff in February and March and the 10% tariff in April. That just devastated our markets in the U.S.
Those tariffs never went into effect, but the damage was done. When Mexico flooded the market with cheap tomatoes, local farmers couldn't compete and didn't even bother picking their fields. Now the U.S. government has plans to put an anti-dumping duty on fresh Mexican tomatoes starting in July to try and prevent that from happening again. And it's not just tomatoes from Mexico that's hurting our farmers. South Florida sends a lot of different produce to Canada, which put a 25% tariff on our crops.
Another watermelon grower in the state had called me about concern and question on the tariff. His customers in Canada, which Canada for the Florida watermelon growers in the springtime is a big market, had told him that they, because of the tariff and the added cost to Florida watermelons, they were in fact going to bypass sourcing Florida watermelons for this spring as long as the 25% tariff was in place. In fact, they were going to source their watermelon needs from Mexico.
Immigration changes are also taking a toll. Many pickers are afraid to go to work.
Many workers have left. Others are leaving now.
This man agreed to talk to us if we agreed to hide his identity. He's worried about being deported.
A lot of people are really afraid, and sometimes they come, sometimes they don't come, and the harvest is lost because it cannot be harvested. So that's why so much produce is lost.
What's the feeling from farmers right now? Like, how are you feeling?
Not very good, to be honest with you.
And with the current policies on tariffs and immigration, Florida farmers are not planting a secure future.
Glen Valley Foods in Nebraska is likely going to be shut down unless they can rebuild quickly. See, immigration officials raided the meatpacking plant, and more than 70% of the workforce has either been detained or stopped showing up for work due to the fear of additional immigration raids. Even their HR manager has stopped showing up. Now, you'd say, it's Nebraska. It's a deep red portion of Nebraska. But Gary Rower, who is the owner of the meat processing facility, said he voted for a Democrat for the first time in his life because he could not stand behind Republican treatment of migrants. When 95% of his workforce are migrants, he could not allow what they were pushing to be on his conscience that he voted for it. He tries to do what's right. He verifies all of his employees through E-Verify, and when they don't pass, he helps those migrants on a road to gain the ability to pass E-Verify. And still, his facility was raided. He has more than 50 workers being detained right now by immigration officials, even though they're legally allowed to be here. And why was he raided? A report that he was employing illegal immigrants by the local community, and solely upon the color of the skin of the individuals that he chooses to employ, because people who look like me refuse to work there because that job is beneath them. Even when he pays $20 an hour for someone with no experience and upwards of $40 an hour for people with experience. It's not a great paying job to start, but it's an okay paying job in the end.